Well, Lesley isn't with us today. She's not ill at the moment. I say at the moment because she might be airsick, because she's 10 miles up, about 3,000 miles away from the Blue Peter studio.
Yeah, that's because just over 3.5 hours ago, she left London's Heathrow Airport in Concorde on the world's first supersonic passenger flight to America.
It's about one of the most exciting journeys anyone could ever make. So Peter and I thought we'd better give Lesley an extra special send-off. So we went off to London Airport to wave her goodbye.
And that's us actually arriving by taxi at the main Concorde gate at Terminal 3, London Heathrow Airport.
Thank you.
But we definitely hadn't, because just inside the door there is the special Concorde check-in, and we made our way to check-in point number 11.
Morning. Hello, good morning. So your ticket. We are.
Shall once you left the car?
Right. Just taking that one piece of tag. That's all, yes. This tag for you. Oh, that's smart. Isn't it? Yep. Go to the bag. Now. There we are, that's your ticket bag.
You're going into access
that's your boarding card. Yep. If you go up the escalator, turn left into the lounge, have a drink up there, we'll let you know when we're boarding. That sounds very civilised. Yes, I'll leave it at this point. Have a nice trip. Thank you. Thank you. Have a bit of luck. See you.
And Lesley boarded the escalator there, and we thought this would be the last we'd see of her.
Back down, here they went with her.
I had to pull you back there. But British Airways very kindly gave us permission to go on the roof of Terminal 3 so we could actually watch Lesley board the plane and wave goodbye to her. And there she goes. That really was the last we saw of her. Quite a crowd ready to watch Concorde move out away from the terminal building there. The pilot on this inaugural flight to the United States of America was Captain Calvert, and he was actually the co-pilot on the world's first supersonic scheduled service to Bahrain, which was the inaugural flight for Concorde last January. It's quite a large plane, 62 meters long, but rather a narrow wingspan, I thought, 26 meters only.
Well, it's actually the most tested aircraft in the history of aviation. And
yeah, that's true, actually, because it first flew in 1969, a long time ago. Since then, 16 of them have been made.
And it's got 4 Rolls-Royce Olympus 593 engines there. It's fitted with afterburners for takeoff to give it this transonic acceleration. The takeoff thrust is 38,050 pounds on each engine, so you times that by 4. And here we are, we're coming down for the takeoff now. Well, all that happened 3 hours 42 minutes ago, and at 1 minute past 1 o'clock, spot on time, the Concorde with Lesley took off. And we've been following the progress all afternoon. In fact, we've got some flight plans down here. Pete, that's yours.
That's mine. Good.
This is mine.
And with these, we've been able to plot the progress, as Johnny said, all afternoon. Let's just take a look at our globe here. London Heathrow there, Concorde took off. After takeoff, flew across southern England to the Bristol Channel. And just past the southern tip of Ireland here, Captain Calvert really opened up the throttles, and just about here, Lesley and Concorde went through the sound barrier.
And when it got to full speed, it was going at 1,350 miles an hour, twice the speed of sound, in fact faster than a bullet goes out from a gun.
And in fact, the crossing, the 2,900 miles of Atlantic Ocean, that's coast to coast, were crossed in just 2 hours, 15 minutes. There really is some going over there. Well, that was, as Johnny said, 3 hours 42 minutes ago. Let's just take a look at the watch. In exactly 5 minutes now, Concorde ought to be landing in Washington if it doesn't land there early. Actually, we've got a picture, I think, coming up there of Concorde in flight near Washington now. It's due to arrive at Dulles International Airport in Washington, as I said, in 5 minutes. That's when the touchdown is. We've got live outside broadcast cameras there. The pictures are coming direct to the Blue Peter studio via satellite. We've got a television set here. That's how I knew that there were pictures of Concorde. There it is. Get off, Shep. So we can keep an eye on the pictures and we won't miss this historic landing. But he seems to be circling around for a moment.
It's a very exciting moment, really, because we're really actually keeping our fingers crossed because the engineers over there haven't been able to have any rehearsal whatsoever. It's really a touch of hit or miss, and we're hoping it's going to be hit rather than
actually,
a
what
miss.
we've got at the moment, so that we don't miss it, is some earpieces. Johnny and I both got these so that we can be in contact with our studio control room upstairs, and the studio control is in direct communication. Sorry, I'll talk to you there. All right, I'll talk to you there. In direct communication with Concorde itself. So we shouldn't really go far wrong. We can keep our eye on the pictures. We can keep our ear on the sound. So whilst we're waiting for anything concrete to happen, some real news from Washington, we're going to take a little time off with a quick identity parade.
Well, the identification parade is about the two cats, the kittens, you see.
We've had a lot of letters, actually, about the kittens, people saying they couldn't remember which one is which, although we have explained it, but I think Johnny and I both had difficulty at times.
We did, yeah. Well, I've got Jack. Now, it's easy to remember Jack. If you remember, Jack rhymes with back, and down his back he's got stripes. So Jack is the back-striped one, and Jill is the spotty one.
Here she is. Nice, delicate little spots on her back. Actually, you probably remember when she was a very tiny kitten, her mum spent so much time washing her that she licked off all the fur which had the spots on it. But now her fur's grown really nice and thick again, and she's got lovely spots there. She's quite active too, this one, and likes to get away and explore, racing around the studio. Neither of the kittens have a favourite toy, but one thing that all cats seem to like, and Shep, by the look of him, is a paper bag. I'm going to put that on the floor, and I'm going to pop Jill down with it and see what happens. They're usually a bit curious about things. Oh,
Jack's in.
Jack being a bit brave. I would have sworn that Jill would have been the first to go to it.
Well, Shep's going in as
In
well.
fact, they do play with it for quite a long time. Actually, neither of these kittens ever seem to get bored. They spend a tremendous amount of time playing together. And myself, I must say, I do think that two cats, it's always better to have two cats than one. They do keep each other company, but they don't get bored. They play games for hours on end. Jill, as we were saying, is really the more adventurous of the two.
The one actually Shep was sniffing at, which was Jack, is become quite a friend of Shep's. They play around together and quite enjoy themselves. I think when Jack grows bigger, he's going to be a right good friend of Shep's.
Yeah,
there he goes. He's going
actually,
in
there's
the
a
back.
pretty funny thing that they always seem to do. About 6:30 every single day, they have a fight. And they pretend to be very fierce with each other. Actually, it is all in fun. Cats do tend to do this. But for about 10 minutes, 6:30, every day, these two really go at it. And they chase each other about, and there's squawks and squeals, and they jump over banisters and all the rest of it. They really have a great time. And in 10 minutes, it's all over, and they're back to being the best of friends again. They're really quite crazy, aren't
You
they?
know what's going to happen a bit later on when they get bigger? They're going to start chasing Shep around.
That should be fun. I think we can stand Shep being no more aggressive in the studio than he is already.
Shep says he doesn't want that at all. Well, we haven't got any news yet, actually, of...
Yes, we have,
yes,
actually.
yeah,
I've just been told that we can actually go over to Washington to take some live pictures, some live coverage from the United States of the approach of Concorde. And I think as we go over to it now, we're getting a picture of the scene, the waiting officials for Concorde to land at Washington Dulles Airport.
There's a big jet in the... Big jet down there.
Policemen standing there in the foreground. That's obviously where the planes will come to rest.
It's been flying really at a height, a maximum height of about 58,000 feet, which is twice the height of Everest.
Actually, if you take a look just behind the group of people there, there's a mobile lounge there. That's where the passengers from Concorde will be taken straight away, and I think the lounge gets driven away to the main terminal building. Looks rather like a railway carriage, doesn't it? Sort of Pullman carriage there.
Maybe it is, you never know.
We should be taking a look at the plane any second now. I don't know what that is. There's some more of those mobile lounges. I think they're giving us a quick look around the airport so we can get familiarised with everything that goes on there. And it really is coming up very close now to Concorde's arrival time at Dulles.
Well, the French Concorde took off 7 minutes after the British one. The French one obviously left Paris.
Actually, I should mention, we haven't really mentioned that both planes are flying today at the same time, have we?
Yeah,
That
well,
Air France...
I was just about to say that, because they're both flying the Atlantic together, about 12 minutes apart, and the two captains obviously are in touch with each other by radio. They start to slow down to a subsonic speed around about 460 miles out from Washington, and they reach subsonic speed about 50 miles from the American coast. And of course the British plane then really slows down to let the French one catch up because he's 12 minutes ahead.
I think you can see here a rather large crowd waiting to see the British and the French Concordes land at Washington. About 50 miles northeast of Washington, the two planes, both of them will be about 5 miles apart. And we expect the British plane to land first and the French Concorde 2 or 3 minutes later.
There's one.
Now there's the first one, that is the British Concorde on the final approach to Dulles International Airport.
And of course on the approach, the snoot, the droop snoot will be down because it drops down about 5 degrees. Because if it's straight out, then the pilot, when he's coming in, because that plane, you'll notice it land at quite an angle. It's almost about 45 degrees. And if the snoot didn't droop, the pilot would be more or less looking straight up in the air. He wouldn't be able to see where he was going at all.
Actually, we know that Lesley is sitting in seat 4A. That's the fourth row from the front on the right-hand side of the aeroplane. But in fact, Concorde's windows really are very small indeed, so I don't think we're going to get a chance to see it. But you can see how low it is now, well on its final approach, coming in to the airport now. I think touchdown in approximately 1 minute, I would think.
Well, had Lesley been sat near one of those windows when she was up at about 58,000 feet, you could actually see the curvature of the Earth, so she must have had a fantastic view. And the cabin pressurization when they're up there is about 4,500 to 5,000 feet, which is quite sort of pleasant.
Really coming in.
Yeah, the
down
undercarriage
now.
is coming down.
You can probably see the weather there is wonderful, but in case it hadn't been, whenever Concordes fly, they're fitted with duplicated autopilots. They've got auto throttles, air data computers, massive computers in there. Coming in for touchdown now. Let's just watch this rather big bird. I think it's very elegant the way
Really,
she
an
flies.
historic
Lovely.
moment is this, isn't it? Look at the angle
Here
it
it is,
comes
the
down.
first supersonic passenger flight down in the United States now.
Nose wheel coming down, touched.
Beautiful landing there by Captain Calvert.
In fact, that droop snoot nose will raise, sort of go out straight when the passengers start to come out. But he's in reverse thrust now, and he'll have full reverse on there because he comes in at quite a speed, and you've got to slow down. Apart from all the brakes and all the wheels, they have massive, great drum brakes. They get very hot as well, do those
Slowed
brakes?
down
Yeah.
considerably there, coming down to the end of its landing run.
I should
Splendid
think there'll
landing.
be a big relief on board, actually.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Sure there is.
Yeah,
Turning
it is,
now at
turning.
the end, and now there's probably another minute and a half to wait before the Air France Concorde gets down there. And it's time from takeoff to touchdown. 3 hours, 52 minutes and 32 seconds. Must be a passenger world record there. Marvellous. Well done, British Airways, and I'm sure Air France too.
Well, following behind the British one is now, here's the
There it
French
is.
one. The French one's coming in. The English one has obviously got to get off the runway before that one can land. He'll be sent by control off the runway as the French comes in. The undercarriage on the French is down. Let's see if the French do a good as landing as the British.
Being a little chauvinistic there, John.
Oh, sorry about
Of course, on these flights, first class service for everybody. Something like 212,000 pieces of specially designed bone china cups, saucers, plates and silver-plated knives and forks were ordered for the British Concorde. But here's the Air France Concorde coming in again. Beautiful sight. I think it's a wonderful looking
Yeah,
plane.
you can see why that droop snoot needs to droop, so the pilot can see where he's going. Here he comes.
And Air
Yes.
France down in the United States too. That's two historic moments in the space of about 2.5 minutes. Both planes firmly on the ground there. the Air France Concorde now to slow down.
Reverse thrust, you can hear it, can't you? Hear that noise, those jets.
Well, that's, as you know, this is live from the United States of America. And I think we can leave it there, the two planes on the ground now, because in fact it will take something like 6 minutes for both the British and the French Concordes to taxi to the disembarkation points. So as I say, I think we'll leave America for the moment. We will be going back there because we have been promised that Lesley will be the first passenger to disembark from the British Airways Concorde. So although we won't be able to speak to her, we won't be able to have a conversation with her, we do hope that she's going to be able to talk to us and tell us all about that first supersonic flight, passenger flight across the Atlantic.
Well, I'll keep my earpiece in.
As Johnny said earlier, actually, it'll be quite an exciting moment if we do get sound from Lesley. We're certainly getting the picture, so there's no reason why we shouldn't get the sound. But of course, our engineers have had no rehearsal whatsoever, so we really, from now on, we're keeping our fingers crossed that we do get something from Lesley. And as soon as the two Concordes get near to the terminal, nose to nose, I think they are there, we'll be going back to Dulles. And if you just take a look at the things that Bluey is wearing here, these are the protecting gear that he would wear under the ground whilst working down there in the pit. So,
To interrupt you.
right, we've got an interruption now, we've got to go over to John.
The two planes have come in together now, and in fact, Lesley should be one of the first people off.
Whoa!
Sorry about that.
It's all right. I was
Apologise
nearly
to
at
the
the end.
cronies.
I'm nearly
There.
finished.
Hey? The ladder's down. Lesley, oh, there's the pilot. You can see the pilot out there. The engineer's out there. We've got the same problem we've got over here, in fact.
Both planes nose to nose there.
We don't know what's happening, they don't know what's happening. But Lesley should be coming out of the British Airways there. And she should be walking down towards the cameras.
I think it'll probably take a little time though, Johnny, before she does appear there. So one or two more facts about Concordes and their flights there. The record time, of course, of the passenger crossing there, 3 hours, I'm trying to remember what it was, 52 minutes and 30 seconds is a time that'll certainly go into the record books, and it's really staggering to think that it's only 47 years since the very first aeroplane crossed the Atlantic. In that case, our pilots were Alcock and Brown. We've got a picture of that there. And Vickers' plane, which took 16 hours and 12 minutes. That was from takeoff to landing. In fact, it took 15 hours, 57 minutes coast to coast. And compare that with Concorde coast to coast, which I said earlier was 2 hours, 15 minutes supersonic. It's about 6.5 times faster than Alcock and Brown made the flight. And apart from Lesley on the plane, there's one other rather interesting VIP. John Trotter, he's a bus conductor from Edinburgh, who booked his ticket 12 years ago. And he says that this trip in Concorde leaves him just one ambition. Now there's a trip to the moon.
There's your railway truck going up that you were talking
lovely,
about
lovely,
earlier.
that's it. Well, if they leave it there, we mightn't see Lesley at all, which...
Well, Lesley should be coming out those steps, I think, at the front. And she was going to walk down between the planes, and the cameras were going to pick her up, and she was going to have a chat to us. She won't be able to hear us, but we'll be able to hear her.
we hope. Someone's just mounted the steps there to go onto the plane to open the door.
British Airways on the right, the French on the left. So if you see a young girl coming out from the plane on the right, that should be Lesley.
I don't think we'll have any difficulty spotting her when she does come out. A little bit more information about the way they flew across. The menu on the British Airways Concorde, they had caviar to start, fresh Tay salmon, they had tornadoes bordelaise, fine steak there, they had mushrooms a la creme, they had a palm heart salad vinaigrette, a half pineapple with fresh fruit salad and kirsch, cheese, coffee and mint, champagne, a Bordeaux wine and a Chablis. Not so bad, not so bad.
Sorry, I had something in my earpiece then, but I couldn't quite pick it out. Could you repeat, control room, please?
They've got a walkie-talkie.
I've just heard that Lesley...
I can actually hear Lesley's
Okay.
voice.
Okay, I'll keep it like that.
Oh, they're
How's
testing
that?
the microphone. Lesley should be coming
Okay.
down the steps. She's just testing.
There she is. I thought she left the foot of the steps
I
there.
know.
Historic moment in every way, and
Especially for us.
particularly for us. Thoroughly enjoying watching this at Dulles, as we said, live from Dulles. This is happening now. Slight pause. Leslie's no doubt looking for a camera to talk to because they're quite some way away on the main terminal buildings. She has to get out of the kitchen hatch. You can see the railway carriage stuck there where the passengers are actually disembarking. Leslie has to come out the other side, which is where the food goes in. So the food goes in and the Leslie's come out. And she's going down the steps there to be able to talk to us.
Well, I did say earlier it could be hit or miss, and I was hoping it was going to be hit. But it looks as though we might have a slight miss at the moment. And I'm hoping it's Miss Judd. Come in, Lesley, where are you?
No, she's not there yet. Don't worry about it, Johnny. There's...
Mind you, it's full of VIPs and it'll be all... no.
Just another quick comparison. If the Concorde ever gets onto the long-distance flight to Australia, for example, Concorde will take 13 and a half hours. Sorry, I heard Leslie's voice again then, but I can't see her.
If we just shut up a minute.
Still testing mic. A jumbo jet to Australia would take 24 and a half hours, so it's 11 hours quicker via Concorde.
That was the stewardess thing, that wasn't Lesley.
No, I can't go out, sir.
Still waiting for
Oh,
her.
I heard Lesley say, I can't go out there.
She's got stage fright
I think
again.
she's probably got stuck in the kitchen hatch. Well, she did train as a stewardess at one time.
She should be
didn't
feeling very comfortable after this flight and quite refreshed because the seats were specially designed for Concorde. The double seats are very light, especially again for Concorde, only £56, £4 lighter than a slightly smaller seat in the jumbo jet. Concorde could carry up to 128 passengers, but British Airways have just 100 seats on there for comfort for the passengers. Still waiting.
If they could just zoom into the bottom of those steps, because there's a stewardess down there at the bottom. I think she's got a walkie-talkie, and she's probably in oh no, we've gone to a long shot now.
Of course, we have no control over
No, we've
what
got
these
no
pictures
contact with the people in America. They're just sort of relaying everything over to us. And it would be nice if we could sit here in the studio and say, zoom into those steps, but it's really up to them.
Yep.
I can hear the voice.
It would be interesting to know exactly what sort of contact the two pilots had whilst they were in flight on the way over, because they were in contact by radio, as you were saying earlier.
It's so frustrating sort of hearing a voice, because you keep just catching sort of snatches of conversation. Oh,
there she is! And
Good
the
old
stick
Les.
mic in her hand, she's looking. Oh, it's nice to see her there.
Les,
Splendid.
say something. We're up here. We're behind you. Turn round. This way.
No, I think she's waving goodbye to the pilot. Here she is.
Hello, John and Peter. I hope you can hear me. I've just been handed the microphone and fingers crossed that I'm getting through to you. Well, it's all so exciting, I hardly know where to begin, and I can't actually believe any of this has happened. It was only 3 hours and about 50 minutes ago that you waved me goodbye at London's Heathrow Airport, and now here I am. I've travelled 3,658 miles, and I'm standing in America. It's all happened too fast to comprehend. Well, the flight was marvellous, the smoothest flight I've ever been on, and the captain and the crew really looked after all of us passengers. They gave us a great treat and a very memorable flight, one that I'll certainly never forget. Well, Captain Calvert, who is our captain on Concorde, said that he'd very kindly give us a wave if I turned round to him. Hello, Captain Calvert. Thank you very much for a marvellous flight. Well, I know that back in England it's around 5 o'clock. I know that because I haven't changed my watch to Washington time yet. But here in Washington I'm told it's around midday. That means it's just under an hour since I took off from London, which is very confusing because it does mean that I could have lunch twice if I wanted to. Mind you, I'm far too excited to think about eating anything. Well, I know that everybody on board Concorde is tremendously proud and pleased with the enormous technical achievement which this flight signifies. And on behalf of all Blue Peter viewers, I'd like to wish Concorde and all the crews who fly her the very best of luck and success for all her future scheduled flights on this new route to America. In the meantime, very quickly, I'm going to make a whistle-stop tour of Washington, take in a few of the famous sites like the White House and Capitol Hill. John and Pete, I'll bring you back some souvenirs if I've got the time, but I really am on a flying visit because I've got to get an ordinary plane back to England tonight because I'm due in London filming for Blue Peter tomorrow. Well, all that's really left for me to say is the bit that I've been dying to say. As they say on all the big news broadcasts, this is Lesley Judd speaking to you live from Washington's Dulles Airport
for Blue Peter's first ever direct transmission via satellite from the United States of America. Bye-bye.
Aha, bye-bye, Lesley. Well, there we are. We actually got through. We heard it, you saw it, and it's a historic moment for not only British Airways and Air France, but for us on Blue Peter too. The first ever live transmission from the United States.
The panic of the day is over. It's well worth it. And you wouldn't believe the panic behind the scenes we've had here today, but by gum, that was lovely.
Well,
wasn't
actually, we've got a little bit of time to fill in now before the end of the programme, so we can go back to our two smashing pit ponies. Go over and have a look at these two, Johnny.